So, occasionally, people come into the chat and they complain that I am too shouty. They are confused by the fact that someone could be projecting their voice in a strong manner while they're on Twitch. And to make fun of those people, and occasionally I do what I refer to as the voice for a couple of seconds. And occasionally people donate to have the voice happen for an entire deck. So this is your warning that
the next hour is going to be a little weird. It's not going to be your usual Jeff that you're used to. And I like to put a warning at the start so that way people know what they're getting into when they click on the video. And we put that warning in the stream title so that way they know, and you can't say that we didn't warn them. And you know, who am I to judge people? I am but a simple man on the internet who takes money to do things for people while I film it. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started off here today with our Miss Kalista deck. Miss here, obviously referring to the very powerful pirate champion, Miss Fortune. She levels when she's seen you attack 4 times, and when your allies attack, she deals 1 damage to all battling enemies and the enemy nexus. Her leveled mode is very, very powerful. 4/4 with Overwhelm. She's quite overwhelming, chat. And she deals 1 damage 3 times to every battling enemy and the enemy nexus. While Miss Fortune sees playing a variety of decks, she's not often paired with our second champion we have here today, Kalista. Kalista is a 4/3 with Fearsome that levels when she's seen 3+ allies die. Her leveled mode resummons a friend, the strongest dead ally follower, each round when she attacks. And then she bonds with that enemy. Don't you want to be bonded with Kalista, chat? That bond means that bonded ally takes damage instead of Kalista. Who wouldn't want to take damage for Kalista, chat? The rest of this deck is very reasonable, aggressive cards, and boy, do we love being aggressive here in Hoaglandia. We've got Nightfall staple Doom Beast that gives us a little bit of reach in our deck. And one piece of technology that I must say I really, really love is we have my boy Zap Sprayfin, quite possibly one of my favorite cards in the game, who notably draws you a 3 or less cost spell from your deck when it comes into play. And this card pairs very elegantly with Shadow Isle staple Stalking Shadows here. Stalking Shadows effectively lets your Zap Sprayfin draw an extra threat out of your deck, which is very, very powerful and slick. Allows you to have your evasive threat draw you more threats. And if you Stalking Shadows into Zap, your Zap can draw you more Zaps, chat. Yo, dog. So we're going to go ahead and dive on into some games, and we're going to go really hard in this game set, chat. You know you want to. I can neither confirm nor deny the name of the person who paid for this to happen for the next hour. Thank you, Socio Penguin. It feels really good to work with a company that recognizes my content and the value that it produces for them. I'm very excited to be part of the Riot Partner Program. I think we're mulliganing our 2 weaker 3-drops here to look for a 2 to fill our curve out. Want to be nice and full while we curve into Miss Fortune here. And this is perfect. 1, 2, 3. That's just curvementary. What could it be? I would like to block. Now the question, do we play the Cursed Keeper or do we play the Fortune Croaker? The downside to playing the Fortune Croaker is that it means our Jagged Butcher would trade with their Omen Hawk, which I think is something I'm not quite into, so I'm going to go ahead and play Cursed Keeper instead. Leading on Cursed Keeper also means that Fortune Croaker can pop our Keeper later, and don't you just want to see our Cursed Keeper burst, chat?
You can see the Debastian border from here.
We're going to go ahead and only attack with the Cursed Keeper here, because I'd prefer not to trade my Jagged Butcher for their 2-1 that draws a card. Now the real question, do we play the Misfortune to have good open attacks for next turn? I think the answer to that question is yes.
No prey, no pay.
This does mean we'll choose... Ooh, they chose not to attack. Those would have been very free attacks, opponent. I feel like we're supposed to open attacks here since they don't have particularly good blocks. Although I suppose at the same time they're just going to go ahead and block here and here, and then they'll only take 3. What are powerful 4-mana spells they could be playing that we're worried about? Should they play, say, Ash? I'm pretty okay with Ash. The downside to Ash is that they have Ash plus Brittle Steel, then they could potentially eat my Misfortune inside of combat, and Misfortune doesn't want to be eaten in that way, chat.
Ready the torches.
Interesting. Do we have a combat trick? Calling Strike.
Love ya.
Light the signal fires.
I need just a moment.
I think with the Omen Hawk gone, we can now safely deploy our Fortune Croaker here to go ahead and draw a card with our Jagged Butcher. There's no reason to play Stalking Shadows before we need a card to play with it, because it is burst speed, so you can burst whenever you want with it.
All the world on one arrow.
It feels like that's a 6/4, chat. Mighty, mighty, mighty big 6/4. Can our Zap Spray Fin find us anything particularly useful here? It does not appear to be the case. It can find us Go Hards and Warning Shots. I think I'm going to go ahead and deploy the Petty Officer here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and make a 1-cost follower. Just go extra wide here. That's actually a very reasonable draw. Essentially pushes us in the direction of fogging their attack here, which is stellar. Love it. Now I have to decide, do I want to commit to getting something with the Stalking Shadows now, or do I want to burn a mana? I think I would like to do this now so I don't lose the mana. Remember, we can only bank up to 3 mana in this game. I think we take the Croaker here. Do I want to deploy the Croaker? I think we do, because it's a free damage on here. Gets us the draw pretty free. I think we want to go ahead and just open attacks here. Opponent could eat one of our things, but Zap is pretty likely to draw us another Go Hard, which is appealing. And this is going to push a lot of damage. We also need to be wary of our opponent playing a copy of Reckoning this game. It's a card that could definitely have some real downside for us. Now the question is, do I want to play Go Hard before or after I play the Zap Spray Fin? If I play it before, I am more likely to draw a second Go Hard, but without a third one in sight, I think I'd rather have a higher chance to draw Stalking Shadows. So I'm going to go ahead and drop Zap now, I think.
Go with the flow.
Perfect. And then we are going to go ahead and Go Hard here before we pass the turn. Just get this in and wipe this out. Good afternoon, Nuclear. Hope you're having a wonderful day with your Mooncat. Feels like there's a strong possibility of a reckoning happening. Thankfully, our hand is very full here.
The trap is set.
Reckoning is notably 6 mana, so that could still occur. However, playing a 3/3 out before they Reckoning could be a little bit strange. I'm going to go ahead and elect a Stalking Shadows here, so we get that little bit of a soft pass. Doom Beast. Doom Beast 2/3 while they're at 6. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it.
Winter take you.
Doom, 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 doom.
Victory requires a sharp blade. For glory! Avarosans, stand together! Face me!
Interesting that they're not killing my elusive.
Buy me a flagrant joke. This is outrage.
In order to enjoy a stream in the succulent voice, it is a deck submission plus a $100 donation.
I'll shoot the wings off a bilge wasp!
I believe we just go ahead and open on attacks here. This Doom Beast is very likely lethal.
Through the coral! I've got us covered.
There's the very predictable Brittle Steel. We deal 1 damage to them here. Play this out so we get our Nightfall trigger here before we stalk into the shadows. Really excellent game here, seeing that Zap Spray Fin draws the double threat just like we drew it up during the deck tech. Just quite perfect overall. I took the defensive blocks because if I wasn't blocking, they would have just made similar blocks when I attacked, so I got to dictate the engagement of the combat there. And I really like to be the one dictating what's going on. Their regions don't really have ways to heal either, so they were very likely just dead to my Doom Beast in hand. They have exactly Innkeeper, but their archetype, generally speaking, does not play that card because it is a 3 power card and not a 4 or 5 power card. The EU tournament structure is very unique. I don't know that I would like it for a general tournament format, but as a novel one-off format, it seems not unreasonable. So Johnny Ash, I think we're going to go ahead and mulligan these two, looking for a 1 mana play to pair with our 2 and our 3. Well, we should have been more specific, chat. That is our 1 mana play.
Victory requires a sharp blade.
Time to go hard while we seek glory, chat. Going hard while we seek the glory. Now we have to ask ourselves the question, how do we like to sequence here? Misfortune dies to Culling Strike, however, Kalista dies to Brittle Steel plus Culling Strike, and there's a good chance they deploy a 3/3 unit this turn, the tracker that would block Kalista anyways, so I think I would prefer to deploy Misfortune,
Looking for trouble?
because even if they deploy a blocker here, our Cursed Keeper will still want to attack in and get a trigger. Good afternoon, Wellborn Muse. Very surprised to not see the hawk gain 3 life there. They must have big plans for their little bird.
Faster than my arrow? I think not.
I think we're going to go ahead and deploy this and summon a 1-cost follower. That's a nice one. I think I am okay with my opponent utilizing a Frostbite here or a Brittle Steel or Flash Freeze. This is a good exchange for me. I think we elect to go ahead and kill their bird here. Although I suppose I'm going to Blighted Caretaker next turn. And if I Blighted Caretaker next turn, I can just kill this with one of the hookers. I think we'll save this because of our hookers. Thanks for the tree fitty, Niv. I appreciate the support. We go hard till we get it, we go hard, so in it, we pop stars. There's been quite the reckoning, chat. We'll see if we're able to recover from that.
We fight for one Freljord.
Yes, Lambton, the reason I took the sequence that I ended up taking was because I was intending to kill her with the Challenger unit the following turn.
You'll fight or you'll swim.
As the arrow flies.
I think we just go to 10 here. Their archetype, generally speaking, doesn't have traditional reach outside of Captain Perron, and Captain Perron's gonna dumpster us regardless.
Open wide.
I'm gonna go ahead and open on attacks here. If they want to block this to here, we can go hard to finish this off. And if they want to eat this one, I'm pretty okay with that.
Lead the target.
Is there a harsh winds in my future opponent? The winds, they are chilly.
Avarosa, guide me.
I think we're probably dead here. That reckoning was just a little bit too much to overcome. Interesting that we faced that deck twice in a row. That's not an archetype that's been particularly common on the ladder. It's always interesting to see what archetypes from seasons past pop back up. The archetype diversity overall in Runeterra is just such a treat consistently. They do such a very good job of having such a good balance of cards, and I assume it will only continue to get better as we get more balance patches like our due on Wednesday. Yes, the Commander Legends and a lot of those other projects' name are Wizards of the Coast leaning into the fact that they realize they have another avenue of players they can monetize very, very heavily. And I've been very happy with the change to Runeterra as well. This game is really well done, and it's made by a company that feels like they respect me as a player and a content creator. I think I'm going to keep the Stalking Shadows. It means I don't guaranteed have a 2-drop on 2, but I'll get to use that mana bank to spell mana here down the line. Which seems reasonable.
I'll shoot the wings off a bilge wasp. In range.
One card we'll want to be very conscious about in this matchup is Avalanche. Deals 2 damage to all of my units here. So we'll want to go ahead and deploy Misfortune as our 3-drop on 3 here because she does not die to that card. Now, there's a real question here of, do I attack? My attack here is worth 6 points of damage, right? 6. So my opponent very likely has Catalyst. So the question I have to ask myself is it worth giving them, is it worth getting 3 points of damage and letting them Catalyst this turn? And I think the answer is no, because if I don't let them Catalyst this turn, they cannot Trundle next turn. And if they don't Trundle next turn, I have a very good open attacks the following turn. So I'm going to go ahead and end the round and burn their mana here. Burn, baby, burn. I agree that it was greedy of them to not Catalyst. I'm going to Stalking Shadows here so I get that sweet soft pass value. Pass to the opponent. They can pass back. I'm going to play Croaker here because it's kind of a soft pass. It adds to the board, but it also draws us a card. So when we get Avalanche, we don't feel too bad about it. And then I think we want to go ahead and add more to the board so we can have a decent open attacks next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and Warning Shot into Jagged Butcher here. Now, things like Vile Feast are a real concern, but I definitely want to open on attacks here. There's that Trundle that we were playing around with our sequencing this game. We have a lot of permutations of things that we can do this turn. Something that's a real concern is that my opponent has 3 spell mana banked at the moment, which means if they have a second Trundle, they could rock our world with an Icequake. I think I'm going to go ahead and play Zap and see what we find. Go Hard was not the Stalking Shadows we wanted for Christmas. I think we just go ahead and pass here. The mixture of the priority system and the spell mana are one of the most elegant things about this game, very easily. I think we just have to skip blocks here. So I have 9 mana total. I think I would like to try and crumble this, crumble the Trundle, chap. They could just have a second Trundle here, but second Trundle coming down I think is more beneficial to us than an Icequake happening. And there's that Catalyst we played around on turn 3. The problem with trying to sacrifice Misfortune to that Crumble there is it means if they have a deal 1 damage spell that I lose my Crumble. Because if they kill my thing in response, my spell doesn't happen. I think it's pretty unlikely that Misfortune's going to get to level up this game, so I'm just going to go ahead and attack and offer this trade because it'll push 5 points of damage over here.
Let's talk about your dad.
Opponent has 9 mana available here, so it's very important that we open on attacks so we do not get Icequaked and we do not get Ruinated. Get to go ahead and get Jack down here. Start generating some Sleep with the Fishes to pair with Petty Officer. Sleep with the Fishes also very, very good with Cursed Keeper. Am I going to feel the rush, opponent? We are, in fact, going to feel the rush. Worth noting, their Trundle is not leveled here, so we do have the option to chump block that. I think with the option of chump blocking available to me, I would like to go ahead and play Fortune Croaker. Opponent is at a life total at this point that's fairly high. There's a good chance we're going to be unable to recover this game. I think we go Petty Officer into a Powder Keg here. And we will sleep with the fish as the Powder Keg to deal 3 to them. This interaction always feels kind of awkward, but it works the way we want it to here.
It's a finer shot. Struck me heart and all.
It does not feel like we're going to be able to drag those last few points of damage across the finish line here. Perhaps we play this and make an extra 1-drop. Try and go a little bit wide here to push those last few points of damage in. I suppose attacking with everything really only pushes a couple extra points of damage, so feels like we're probably dead here, right? I can hook these 2 things to some things. I suppose it pushes 3 extra damage. They would take 2, 5, 6 with this trigger, but they're still only going to 5 at that point, and we're still pretty far off then.
Oh, do you want to get back to work?
Got us covered.
Nothing's tougher than a troll.
Looking forward to that sweet, sweet Trundle nerf on Wednesday. Nerf me, daddy. Nerf me harder. Honestly, more exciting than the Trundle nerf is probably whatever potential buffs are going to be happening. We'll see which weaker champions are going to get some redesigns and some help. Will Vladimir finally be something worth talking about? Trundle Tryndamere with an Iona splash. I think we want to go ahead and mulligan here, looking for 1s and 2s to curve into Misfortune. These are not the droids we're looking for, chat. Yes, Shyvana will be a very, very good buff. She's so very close to being playable as is. And again, I think this pass back here signifies that my opponent very likely has a catalyst and they're trying to gain 3 life out of it. So instead of attacking for 4 and then letting them gain 3 back, I'm going to give up that 1 point of damage here essentially to not let them play their card this turn. We are very calm, Yak.
Like a fish in water.
Unfortunate that we spew the attune mana here a little bit. So if I play Blighted Caretaker this turn. I get to level Kalista, which I think is a worthwhile exchange. So let's attempt that. So Kalista levels here when she's seen 3 creatures die. He says before getting ruinated. Avalanche! Avalanche, with this timing on Avalanche seems very suspect. This means that my Kalista is going to level before I attack here, which seems very good for us. Oh, and this brings back Zap, which draws me a spell. That's very, very good. The J-Rock, thank you for the very, very generous tier 3 resub. I appreciate the half a year. And the 19 months, welcome back. I think I would like to spend Black Spear killing the Rinding Stones here. So with Kalista only having 2 life here, there's some appeal to playing around a second copy of Avalanche here, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and start by playing Misfortune.
Looking for trouble? It found you.
And then I'm going to go ahead and play a Doom Beast. And they're ending the round, so easiest pass and open attacks of my life here. Kalista summoning Zap Sprayfin is something awesome that I didn't know I needed in my life. Zap Sprayfin fetching Stalking Shadows is also something truly exquisite, just as good as it looks on paper, chat. This deck feels like a really good example of just how many great things there are that remain unexplored in this game. This deck's playing a unique combination of a bunch of cards that are just good Runeterra cards. Good afternoon, Abyssal. You said good morning, so I assume you are on the left coast. I hope your left coast morning is going well. Ah, close. I often forget there are things between the Great Cornfields and the left coast of the United States. I suppose Colorado exists. Generally speaking, Nightwings, I try to reserve putting decks on my site for ones that we've played at least more than once, so I can get a decent feel for something that I'm recommending. Something feeling good through one entire playset, generally speaking, isn't enough of a sample size to really feel confident to put it up for me. I think I'm going to go ahead and mulligan these Doom Beasts. These are not really a 3-mana play, even though they cost 3, because ideally we want to play them with this Nightfall trigger. Crackshot Courser into Cursed Keeper, however, feels excellent. Peabody Hightower coming in hot with that quarter of a year of Prime support. I really appreciate that. I wouldn't be here without the support of folks like you. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. But remember, just because a deck doesn't go up on my website doesn't mean it can't be fun and awesome to play. Lots of great highlights on my YouTube channel. A couple of folks had asked me about my thoughts on the European tournament. The tournament format is fairly unique for that, and I don't know. I've been enjoying watching the coverage the last 2 days of the tournament, but I don't know in terms of meaningful thoughts on the format that I really have any, having seen it so far. I will say that I truly love that Riot seems to be willing to experiment with different types of formats for their tournaments, because one of my general complaints about card games is that lots of other card games have always played it far too safe with their tournament formats, and I think there's a lot of room for a lot of good innovation to exist. Kalista is very spooky scary, chat. Not scary enough to attack past that. We're gonna go ahead and attack with this and get our shot in. For the Shyvana barrier build around, thank you very much for the continued generous biddies, Lampton. I'll get that added into the deck queue.
Night flowers upon my blade.
This is actually one of those times where I really didn't want to draw Stalking Shadows. Was kind of hoping to go hard on this board.
Her flowers bring the moonlight with them.
Find your own light within the darkness.
Yours is a light I cherish, Moon Sister.
We'll see if they have a Pale Cascade here to allow them to kill my Kalista. That would be a little bit scary.
Face your heretic. You have earned your fate.
Came a long way.
If I trade these here, and then this Stalking Shadows next turn finds a way to kill this Cursed Keeper, I get to level up Kalista, which sounds particularly appealing. Clipsy, thank you for the 31 months of support. I wouldn't be here without folks like you. Thanks for keeping me around. So we have 5 shots to find a way to kill this Keeper. Nailed it.
You pay. I know the spirits. These are my rules.
To all betrayers.
I don't have room in my life for a non-digital card game. I also don't think I could stomach the predatory practices of playing another trading card game. There is no meaningful reason that card games should have booster packs and acquire things at random other than unadulterated corporate greed. I'm gonna go ahead and play this Go Hard before I attack with Kalista, because this Kalista is gonna generate a Zap Spray Fin, and I would like that Zap Spray Fin to have the greatest chance of drawing a second copy of Go Hard, and Go Hard puts 2 copies of itself into my deck here. You Go Hard right back into my deck. This is an ephemeral Doom Beast, so rather than attack my 4-3 into this, I'm only going to attack with Kalista this turn. Very unfortunate that we did not find our additional copy of Go Hard there. I believe this is in fact our 3rd and final copy of Stalking Shadows, and this is our only copy of Warning Shot? Yes, so we had 4 copies of Go Hard and 1 Stalking Shadows in our deck, and we hit the 20%er there in a truly unfortunate manner. Erase a Move, thank you for the 21 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Booster packs are indeed the OG loot boxes. Could not agree more. Better late than never, Go Hard. Welcome to the party. We know our opponent has another Doom Beast here because they played an ephemeral one last turn off of Stalking Shadows. Now the Diana is leveled. And we know they have a Doom Beast, so this Diana's going to get to Nightfall this turn. That's super unfortunate. We know with certainty that this Zap is drawing another Go Hard. It might be right to just Stalking Shadows to start here to try and go wide with blockers, I think. Okay, and Blighted Caretaker is actually quite excellent here. It's going to gum the board up very nicely. I think I just want to make their attacks as bad as possible this turn. And then hopefully next turn we could have a chance to zap into Pack Your Bags.
Unseen, unheard, the new moon conceals you from our foes.
So this is our second copy of Go Hard. Zap is currently guaranteed to draw another Go Hard. So if we draw a Go Hard naturally, we will get to tell them to pack their bags. This is going to kill Kalista. These other attacks are very bad because I have a bunch of ephemeral units. Zap is guaranteed to draw that because we've drawn our 1 warning shot as well as our 3 copies of Stalking Shadows. So the only remaining legal targets in our deck for Zap to draw are Pack Your Bags, or Go Hard in this case. So we did not draw a Go Hard for the turn, which is a little unfortunate. I probably want to deploy Blighted Caretaker in order to get a little bit more aggressive here. Get a little bit more interactive, I suppose, is a better phrase.
No prey, no pay.
Draw with Croaker. So the problem with Croaker is that if I draw with Croaker and I miss, I can't really do a whole lot. Whereas this way, I get to go ahead and set this up, which these hookers let me kill their elusive units here, which is a big deal. Okay, so that did not make my units smaller. All of these being fearsome is probably insurmountable though, right? So I can kill these, but Nocturne keeps their board unblockable essentially here. Really needed to hit that Pack Your Bags last turn. I should technically attack with everything. I don't think it really matters though. I just want to take a draw step and see if it's the next card in our deck, if the Fortune Kalista would have gotten there. Negatory. Good afternoon, Shreebus.
Now we plan our revenge.
The Nightfall aggro deck is very, very good. I feel like in proportion to its power level, that's an archetype that's fairly underplayed. Has a lot of reach and bobbing and weaving around. Trundle, Trendemir. We're gonna mulligan these two, looking for maybe we keep Petty Officer. Let's keep Petty Officer. Steve Rubin said the Nightfall aggro had the highest win rate of any deck with the least representation. Yeah, I would definitely believe that.
Shoot the wings off a bilge wasp.
Seems like a reasonable statement. By the way, for folks whom are my regular viewers during the week, it is worth noting that my schedule is changing slightly this week. I will still be doing Runeterra content every single day, Monday through Friday, and Sunday too, I suppose, but I'll be starting slightly later than I have previously.
This'll take the chill off.
So I will not be going live until 10 a.m. Central every day during the week now. Niv, thank you for the tree fitty. I'm a lawyer looking to host a press conference in Central Illinois. Do you have any landscaping suppliers you would recommend to host it? The people that did the work on my backyard and put my place set up were quite excellent. I'm sure they would be happy to service you.
Let's take this outside.
Ryan the Mime, thank you for the 14 months. Unforgettable indeed.
Like a fish in water.
And I'm sure now that we only want to draw Stalking Shadows, we'll draw plenty of copies of Go Hard. Yep. We'll go ahead and sell this Tavern Keeper here to pack his bags.
Who's gonna close up?
He's the real winner, chat.
How about my rules? These are troll lands.
Also known as Twitch, an Amazon subsidiary.
I promised a bloodbath. Smashing.
Evening, Uncle Funkle. Afternoon. Yes, we've had a variety of deck submissions recently, so I wanted to get some Runeterra in on the weekend, so I could make sure the deck submissions don't wait too long to get played in the queue.
You pay. I count the spirits. These are my rules.
Maybe I'm supposed to block there, so that way my Go Hard could kill Trundle. It's very possible if that's correct.
We shall pierce their treasonous hearts.
I think we're going to go ahead and sleep with the fishes here to get our bits of reach in. Killing one of our own units also means Kalista gets to trigger here, which is nice.
I never miss.
Lock the doors.
How do we feel about open attacks put Vengeance on the stack? The problem with Vengeancing to start without attacking is that it leaves my opponent room to ruinate me and sweep my board before I get to attack. Obviously, if I attack and put Vengeance on the stack, my opponent gets a free block on the Jack, so he won't deal damage. But I think it's worth trying to guarantee the 6 damage to play around the ruination here.
Got us covered.
You got a problem? They look angry.
Chetherin, thank you for the 14 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Big Daddy Trend coming down the mountain, chat. Do I want to play Sleep with the Fishes, exposing Jack the winner to an avalanche? I think I do. If they want an avalanche, Kalista will level up.
Make 'em bleed. You wanted rough.
You want it rough. So now the question is, can we go wide enough around these Dorkos to be able to kill them next turn from 18? The video on YouTube was removed, and I deleted it on my Twitch page as well because the individual in the video threatened to sue me for mischaracterizing their position. And while I think I could probably win that lawsuit, it is not worth my time or my money to fight such petty things in a court of law.
For silver I talk, for gold I listen. Do not stand in my way!
Yes, for YouTube videos individually, especially with the amount of, the few hundred to 1,000 views that my channel gets, they're not worth much money individually. So we can level Kalista here. If I level Kalista killing Jack, Kalista will summon another Jack inside of combat, which is nice. I could also just play Petty Officer though, and the Keg will level Jack, which sounds nice as well.
No use trying.
I think we just go as wide as possible here, huh? Although I suppose if I play both of these, then Kalista can't summon something inside of combat, so I guess that doesn't really matter. I guess we just do this. We are dead to Atrocity here, but can't play around that.
Lock the doors.
It's a real shame Crumble is slow speed.
Captain's orders. Bullet to the face.
That the best you got?
Have a Warping Whale here, I would assume. Yeah, Whale is very bad for us because it means Kalista dies as well, because the Whale's going to kill this Ephemeral. And again, I think it's very easy to characterize this archetype that our opponent's playing as Feel the Rush being too good, when in reality Feel the Rush is just a very good control finisher, and all of the various Shadow Isles and Avalanche tools that they have that keep them alive against aggro decks, those are, and Trundle. Trundle's a big fat bottom troll. Deagle in a can. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around for an entire year. I appreciate you lurking. This is a fairly reasonable curve. I think we're actually going to keep all 4 of these cards. Butcher is just a 2/2 on 1 is fine, and then we have Cursed Keeper on there too, into Blighted Caretaker, pop it on 3. Doesn't the Blighted Caretaker always just make you pop, chat?
Knows me name. Let's get to it.
We each hold a world within.
Oh yes, she does our visitors.
And now I have to make a decision if I'd like to start leveling Misfortune or if I'd like to use the Blighted Caretaker this turn. It actually feels kind of close because if we Blighted Caretaker to hook this, we have Go Hard the following turn to kill it, but I think getting Misfortune going is a little bit better.
No pay.
Thanks, Shanid.
I am the blade in the darkness.
Even if they have Pale Cascade here, Misfortune will still trade with this, so I think I attack with everything.
Cut the breath from them.
Love ya.
And they're just taking the trade there. I think that's good for us.
Hell of a day.
Some decision making this turn.
Spirit gives to those who listen.
Do I want to deploy a 3-drop, or do I want to deploy Fortune Croaker and draw a card? If I want to deploy Fortune Croaker and draw a card, do I want to hit the 2-1 or the 2-2, or do I want to pop this into a 4-3? With the Blighted Caretaker in hand especially, I think I'm inclined to deal the damage to the Jagged Butcher.
You pay, I count the spirits. These are my rules.
If they can cast 2 spells this turn, which seems incredibly likely in their Zed Lee Sin deck with 5 resources, they'll generate 2 Dragonlings next turn, which would mean my attacks are not going to be in a particularly good spot. And this is very good. Gives them 2 spells for the cost of 1 card and lets them kill my 2-1 inside of combat. Although if they kill either of my things here, I can use the Go Hard to finish this off, so that's nice.
We each hold a world within.
Yep. I'm going to hold the Crackshot Corsair for now, because I think we very likely want to go Crackshot into Doombeast this turn. Although now I would just like to zap.
Gotta go with the flow. Through the coral.
Fairly stunning turn for our opponent here. And they're going to have 2 Dragonlings again next turn, which is very good. Going to let them gain some life back here, making it very difficult to race.
What is gained when you return malevolence? I am prepared.
Thanks, Kyle. Good to have you here.
We live here.
I think I'm going to go ahead and block both of these now with my Blighted Caretaker in hand. We can hopefully kill these next turn. I also don't mind freeing up space on my bench here, so that way I can go ahead and play Zap out.
Keep up.
I want to be able to play this Zap while also playing this next turn. Rude. This Blighted Caretaker will still fortunately be able to kill this though, so that's great. Go Hard is a very sweet design, I agree, Blad.
Bring in.
I'm electing not to play the Crackshot Corsair here because I would like to play this out. As such, we're going to attack with these 2, plus our 2 lovely hookers here, and we're going to go ahead and hook in these Eyes of the Dragon. It's the Eye of the Dragon, it's the zap of the fight, it's the sapling, gonna kill their guy now. Matt PST coming in with the prime for the 8th month now, yow. Afternoon, King Hellcat. Thanks for dropping by. If you haven't tried Runeterra, I would highly recommend it. It is easily the best card game I have ever played, and the way in which Riot manages it as a company is a breath of fresh air after all the other card games I've ever played. This Go Hard redraw is excellent. We'll get to go ahead and kill off this Eye of the Dragon. Unless they have another way to protect it, that is. Their Lee Sin is almost leveled, but they shouldn't quite have enough mana to be able to Lee Sin and full combo kill us next turn, which is nice. Yes, believe it or not, my normal voice that I stream in is not my conversational voice. It is an animated voice that helps keep my energy high while I stream.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
Jackie boy. Alright, there's Lee Sin.
The dragon spirit awakens.
So, if they can keep Lee Sin Overwhelm with the Zenith Blade here, that'll get him to 5 power. And they can get him a couple more power up to 7, but that's still not lethal this turn, so we're in an okay-ish spot. Worth noting, they are going to be able to kill Zap here, which is a little concerning.
Let's get him, crew.
I have a succulent ASMR timeout for you, the ultimate mistake. No, there's no anger here, only peace and love. Hail Cascade on the lifesteal unit. Seems very reasonable.
Lands need. Prepare yourself. Move with purpose.
I'm gonna go ahead and just take some trades here, I think. I don't want this to generate too many gems for them.
Conflict is all in the mind.
So, bunch of the board getting pulled away here. Lee Sin kicks our dork into the thing. And then, very good chance we get combo killed by Lee Sin next turn.
Who's ready for a show?
Feeling like we're not going to have quite enough oomph to punch through here.
Lock the door.
I think we really needed to draw a go hard there in order to be particularly competitive. I think if we would have been able to tell them to pack their bags here, perhaps we could have blasted through what they have going on, but there's also a chance they have Nope, Fire, Deny, and it wouldn't have mattered though. Yeah, there's that Overwhelm for Lee Sin that gives him that double strike attack.
Conflict is all in the mind.
Yeah, and their life total is just too high. We were unable to power through triple Eye of the Dragon, plus plenty of ways to heal and protect them. We had an okay amount of interaction ourselves through combat and point damage, and they just had too many pumps and heals. And then Lee Sin closes the door up very quickly. I'll be interested to see if Lee Sin is a card that gets adjusted on Wednesday's balance patch. Yeah, we don't know for certain that Lee Sin's going to get another adjustment. I'm of the opinion that I would like to see it change. I think Lee Sin is an incredibly unhealthy play pattern to have in the format, but it's also probably not very popular, so I'll be interested to see if they use popularity as a justification to leave it alone. We'll get patch notes on Tuesday, I believe. Usually it's Tuesday. I know it's a little weird me streaming on Sunday, so easy to get thrown off. I don't often do Runeterra on Sundays.
We were peaceful once.
I'm
On the trigger.
pretty okay with this trade.
Got us covered.
You leave me no recourse.
That's a pretty good draw. That draw means I can go ahead and play Cursed Keeper here on 2, and then we'll get to go ahead and use the Croaker to pop this on 3. Yeah, I hope so too, Cats. Based on how Runeterra has been balanced in the past, I'm kind of expecting another Lee Sin change on Wednesday, but we'll see. Definitely okay with this trade proactively where we're not taking overwhelm damage. They are not. It's a lot of Stalking Shadows, fam. It's a lot of Stalking Shadows. So these are... There is 1 warning shot and 3 go hards in my deck that Zap can draw here, so that sounds kind of appealing. And then I think I just go ahead and Petty Officer here, summoning a 1-drop. We're going to take some overwhelm damage on these, but we have decent blocks. We'll take 4 and 4, so we'll take 8 down to 9. It was indeed very strange to have an election in March, I agree.
Like a fish in water.
Wait till Christmas in April next month. I'm fairly confident we don't get to move forward in time until Joe Biden is inaugurated as President of the United States. Drain, baby, drain. Very good for us there, obviously, that they didn't use the gem. I assume they wanted to save the gem as a Nightfall enabler, though, so that worked out very well for us.
No prey, no pay.
See if they have a Nocturne here or something. Yep. The good news is this Zap is 80% to draw us a Go Hard. So if they attack with this and hook our Misfortune, we're 80% to draw a way to kill this with it. Oh, they're just doing that, sure. Very, very conservative play there from our opponent. Blighted Caretaker. Love it.
Keep up, keep up.
Okay, there's our 80%.
Find your path in the dark and follow
Zap plus Go Hard is incredibly sweet. Zap plus Stalking Shadows is also very sweet. I love the baseline of this deck a lot. It's doing a lot of very neat things. A lot of things that make me go, oh, that's very cheeky.
ignorant thrall.
Fingers crossed for no Pale Cascade here. They do have Diana in place, so there's a good chance they have one. Yep, very unfortunate for us.
In silver light.
Stalking Shadows is just so very, very good. This is going to level when they attack. Thankfully, I do have something that can block a Fearsome at least.
The Solari brought this bloodshed upon themselves.
This war is old as Solari and Lunari alike.
Gross. Well, they're down to 1 resource. Man, that's really unlucky. We only have like 25 units in our deck. Yeah, sounds about right.
Go with the flow.
We are dead to a 1-drop here. Worth noting. They have the 1 mana Nightfall card. Because this is going to level up when these attack, which will make all of their things fearsome, so my zaps can no longer block. Oh, the punish. The greed, chat. They should have attacked. They should have attacked.
Night descends. I will be heard.
Give them a chance!
Okay, this, there is one, I repeat, there is one copy of Warning Shot in our deck that this could find. Otherwise, it finds a pack your bags.
Keep up, keep up.
I think this card probably shouldn't be in our deck.
You pay! I got the spirits! These are my rules!
Tonight they'll pay for their crimes.
So it has come to this.
Stop maybe the worst possible, right? Do I play Doom Beast or do I play Kalista so it can see this die? I think I play Kalista so it can see this die. Them having to play this defensively is very good for us, though. No, yeah, definitely. Definitely have a real game here.
Cannot turn back.
You pay first!
They had an ephemeral unit as well, Lambton.
I don't change fate, and I can see it!
Pack your bags, you're going home. I actually really like a lot of what this build is doing. It's very, very sweet. I think that warning shot's gotta go, though. Gotta go right now. Gotta go right now. I've also been fairly underwhelmed by deckhand. So we have a lot of 3s in this deck. So the warning shot's been poop. I've not been happy with the Petty Officer because there's a lot of avalanches in the format right now. So that leaves me 4 cards that I would like to replace here. You can always find the deck list we are playing by typing !deck inside of chat. It'll also be available on your screen via the overlay widget. What are some 1, 2, and 3 cost units we can play? Thank you for dropping in today. Good afternoon, Capito. I have 6 1-drops. 6 1-drops is probably plenty. What 2s could we play? We could just play like Hired Gun. Just a good card. The kegs were okay on more than one occasion. It could just be we play a bunch of Dreadway deckhands. You know what's actually kind of funny is deckhand in a way kind of provides extra bodies for Blighted Caretakers. So maybe we just play 3 deckhands and then we go up to the 3rd Blighted Caretaker. Because like if you play this on their turn for 2, you can play this on 3 and sack. It gives us 6 things that we can curve Blighted Caretaker into really nicely. That's also something we don't mind killing with Fortune Croaker to draw a card. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's play 1 or 2 more games with this before we call it a day and move on to our next deck. Some Leona Swain. In Swain in the Membrane. This is a matchup where Go Hard is very, very bad. I'm going to mulligan that. Bladed Caretaker, also not Seller. I want to look for one of our other 3s here, I think. Sure.
Let's get it, crew. Finger on the trigger.
Having 6 1-drops we can Fortune Croaker into is very nice as well.
You pay, I got the spirits. These are my rules.
I think I'm going to go ahead and play Misfortune here before combat. If they Avalanche, Misfortune could survive. The downside to playing her is if they had exactly Avalanche plus a Vile Feast. They have the Rinding Stones here, so turn 4 Trundle is going to be a possibility. Fat bottom troll.
King of Trolls coming through.
So I think I would just like to go as wide as possible here, so I could have a very reasonable open attacks next turn. And I think I want to save the Zap Spray Fins for after they eventually sweep the board. So I think we're going to go ahead and go Deckhand into Croaker, kill the Powder Keg here.
Bow to your king.
Yeah, that happens, I suppose. That's fine, though. And just Croaker hit the Deckhand.
When I don't for gold, I listen.
Finger on the trigger. I've got us covered.
So they take 2 from these triggers. Oh, you know what? If my plan was to open attacks, playing around Warping Whale by putting a damage on Misfortune, yeah, I missed 2 points of damage here because I put the Fortune Croaker damage on the wrong thing. My opponent would be at 5 right now, and I would have another thing in play if I had played this better.
Come on in. There's plenty of killing left. Smashing.
Hoping to find Stalking Shadows with these zaps. I think I'm gonna go ahead and jump block here. I think working Kalista up towards leveling sounds really good. We'll play Zap out here, hoping for Stalking Shadows. Perfect. And then next turn we can play Blighted Caretaker, which will level Kalista.
Leave your bags in the door.
I think I'm going to go ahead and Stalking Shadows now, so that way I don't lose a mana, because we only bank 3 mana across turns. Zap, yep. Zap, drawing more zaps feels really good. I agree that my opponent's archetype is very, very good against my small unit deck. Opponent's archetype, for those that aren't super familiar with Runeterra right now, is easily the best archetype in the game. You can go hard your own units. Sure, technically, but why would I ever want to do that if they have things in play? So they can ruinate here. Vengeance, sure.
Gotta go with the flow. Through the coral.
think I'm going to do this, actually. So that way I can double go hard to kill their Grinding Stones to cut them off a mana next turn. Cutting them off a mana next turn means that they can't feel the rush, although they don't have mana to do that now. I think that's still correct. Okay, I think I want to kill their Grinding Stones here. And then this second zap in hand is very, very likely to draw us a Pack Your Bags, which is appealing. Obviously, there is one copy of Stalking Shadows remaining in our deck, but cutting that one warning shot, meaning that these are guaranteed to draw us the card we're looking for in the late game, is excellent.
Keep up, keep up.
I smell a fight!
I'm gonna pass because they're just guaranteed to be attacking here, right?
Smashing! This'll be a slaughter! Get ready for a beatdown!
I guess I should have used the go hard here. Oh wait, does this work out? This does kind of work out, huh? I think I try and get the Pack Your Bags here. So I'm going to do this, and then we get to play this Zap Spray Fin here, which has, there's one Stalking Shadows left in our deck, but otherwise it gets a Pack Your Bags. Okay. Yeah, we want to try and kill the Trundle this turn, exactly. We are, I believe, unfortunately going to be dead to an atrocity, but again, I don't think there's anything we can do to play around that, so. We'll start with this and see what happens. Yep. Gosh, we're so close, chat. We're so close.
Be nothing left when I'm done.
Do you have an avalanche, an avalanche, an avalanche? That's pretty good. There's just so much healing in their archetype. This at least puts us to 10, which means that we're not dead to this attacking anymore, because this will be able to hook the Doom Beast next turn. That was a very good draw. Do they have Feel the Rush is the question. That's just lethal, right? Because our Fearsome has vulnerable. Yep. So, overall, I like a lot of what this deck has going on. I think it has a lot of really excellent synergies that are largely unexplored in this format together, such as Go Hard and Stalking Shadows paired with Zap Sprayfin was quite excellent over and over and over again. That being said, it just does not feel like this deck has the tools to be competitive against the Trundle Tryndamere Shadow Isles Freljord deck, which is easily the best deck in this format right now. I think this is one that I'm definitely super interested in revisiting come Wednesday, when Trundle and potentially other cards in that deck will be getting a rebalance. But for the time being, until we see how that deck is changing in terms of power level, I think this is one that I would be hesitant to recommend. Like I said, it's super interesting. I would love to explore some more of it once that deck gets a little bit of a power level rebalance. But for now, I think I'm going to have to say that this one felt a little bit underwhelming overall, just not quite powerful enough to keep up with what the good decks are doing.